Are we really opening the door to stay firm on our pricing on something that we want to get better at?
If you are able to book yourself out, why throw deals?
It's surgery with an artistic flair. If you were a doctor, you'd go to seminars every year to learn about the new tools. And we get new tools every fucking 2 weeks.
I love our tattoo community. I have never met a better group of people, but god damn, bro, some of you guys are passive aggressive assholes.
Hey everybody, this is Zach and Keely with the Tattoo Hang here at Crafted Fate Studios in Columbia City, Indiana. And, it's been a while since we shot an episode. We have lost one of our brothers. Rest in peace. No, he's off doing really cool stuff. It's a lot to do with his kids, which is good. We all have to set our priorities straight. But me and Keely are just now learning how to podcast together as a unit, just me and her.
For sure.
And this is our first time, so bear with us. We're gonna get better at it. But 3 people to riff off's a little bit better than 2, so it's a stride. So my name's Zach Osborne. I've been tattooing for about 3.5 years. I've also been in sales for about 7 years. And this is Keely, and her experience is...
I've been tattooing for about 1.5 years now on real skin. I started my apprenticeship about 2.5 years ago.
And she's doing good. She's doing good.
Only ever worked here at this shop with Bryn and Zach as my mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly Zach. He's the black and gray.
Yep.
But Bryn will lend me some advice when I need it.
So these are 2 opinions coming from those 2 different places. But I just want to talk about a topic that's been super hot on the trend lately, on Facebook especially, between a lot of our friends. And that is, should you be throwing deals? Or is that bad for the tattoo economy? Should you stand firm on your pricing because your integrity of your art is to be upheld? There's a lot of back and forth about this.
I feel like this is a subject that has been kind of thrown in or sprinkled into tattooing forever. Everyone's going to have their opinion on what you should charge and how you should charge for your work. It's something I've heard since I've been in the community, constantly.
Yeah. I think the biggest argument that people are really get that emphasis on, they just start to get angry about it, is people that throw deals aren't artists, or people that, you know what I mean, they'll start to hit hot button topics and kind of throw in some passive aggressive comments like that. But in reality, it's just, it's a whole, we have a whole page filled up with different things that this entails. There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with ever calling somebody that they're not an artist. Art is entirely subjective. I know that tattooing itself is not as subjective as art as a whole is. Tattooing, there is very clearly a right and wrong way to do certain things. But I don't know. I don't think that there's this argument that, and I've heard it from people here in our shop, people at conventions, I've talked to them, that you get what you pay for, almost, is kind of a mentality that you have. If you're paying for something and you only paid $100 to get it, chances are it's not going to be a great tattoo. And I just don't necessarily always agree with that, because...
Well, there's something to unpack there, which would be the subconscious performance difference.
Right.
It should be so if you're getting paid $100 to do 4 lines, those are going to be some crispy ass 4 lines. But if you're getting paid $100 to do a portrait of, T-Pain,
ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
It's not going to be a very good T-Pain, and I do agree with that. For certain,
no matter how good you are.
Yeah, and for certain, and there are definitely different tattoos that take certain amounts of effort.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So, if you don't charge what you're worth as far as tattooing, it's not a conscious thing, I promise you. But I think we've all been through this in the tattoo world, and that is, you get that low price, and subconsciously, you're like, wow, I got to get home, I got to do all this other stuff. Where, like, if you get paid a respectable amount, you get paid, you're going to, like, subconsciously, like I said, none of this is consciously, subconsciously perform. You're going to try to outperform yourself every time that you get that solid payment that you're looking to get, that you love your value. And that's the other thing is, like, if you're not getting enough money as far as getting tattoos, you need to change what you're worth. Because cheap does, by and large, equal bad or poorly done tattoos.
Well, and it's hard a little bit to kind of, and this is me speaking as somebody who's only been on skin for about a year and a half, and I've had 2 different things said to me on, you're charging what you should be charging versus you should be charging more. And, like, it's hard to kind of know what you're worth when you're just starting out in the community and you don't really know. Me personally, I throw deals monthly. I do about a monthly deal, and each for the entire month, I'll kind of choose, like, for this month of July, I'm doing a script deal. So if you get script throughout the entire month of July, it's going to be discounted.
And
but that's because
thing.
I want to get better at script. Script, almost everybody that you know has words somewhere on them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, like, are we really opening the door to stay firm on our pricing on something we've never tried that we want to get better at? Because, like, in my opinion, like, there's a few things that come with throwing deals that are just, you can't do staying firm on your pricing. And it's going to be like your new clients, the clients that wouldn't have considered you. And that's not always a bad thing, but for something that you're very good at, you can always throw deals on.
Yeah, because if you're charging $200 an hour to do black and gray realism, but you're wanting to learn neotrad, and you don't know anything about neotrad, are you still going to go into that charging $200 an hour while you're learning something new?
And, like, in the sales community, the first thing you want to do, because, like, with the throwing a deal, like, it's in sales, it's buy or die. That's a pretty solid, that's your mindset when you're a salesman. Now, when it comes to tattoos, you want to increase your sales, but you really want to build rapport with your clients, which would be just, like, getting them in, because that's the most important thing. Get them into your shop. That's why you don't give prices over the phone. You get them in your shop, and once there's a face in front of them, you're going to be able to attach with them. You're going to be able to build rapport. You're going to be able to, throw that deal to learn something new, and they're going to appreciate that. And it's going to be like all these things come with, there's an emotional buying experience when it comes to tattooing, and all those things are going to make you feel good about getting a tattoo from someone.
Right. And I can hear people, like, I can almost hear it in my head, like, if you got a client off of throwing a deal, then that client obviously doesn't have money to spend. But, like, firsthand, I already know that's not true. I have a client, she comes in about 3 times a month for me to tattoo her. And my first time ever tattooing her was because I threw a deal on an all-day session for $500, and she came in and got that from me. And now she comes in 3-4 times a month and pays full price for the tattoos past that.
Yeah. And the other thing to be considered here is, like, I hate to compare these two, but, like, let's talk about gas stations. We'll say there's 3 in town. We'll say there's 3 tattoo shops in town. As far as business mindset, you're gonna have to compete with that local shop. That's part of.
There's a competitive edge in terms of pricing, a little bit, especially when you're in, like we are. We're in a small town, a relatively small town with 4 tattoo shops within 500 feet of each other.
I tell you, it is like 500 feet. Yeah. So they do end up being super close together, and it's an intuitive thing to be able to change your ways. Like, we need to adapt and overcome as tattoo artists. And that's the thing, is there's multiple things to consider inside this realm. So we haven't even been on the staying firm with your pricing side. We've mostly been on the throwing deal side, right? But, like, the things to consider when we're going through these two subjects are factoring in the state of the economy, let's be honest. The economy is not the greatest right now. The craziest slow seasons I've seen. There's people going back to their jobs or trying to get education that they wouldn't normally get instead of tattooing.
Even when I was last year was my I think second summer tattooing. No, last year was my first summer because I got my license in December. So I missed out on that first year's summer. Last year was my first summer tattooing, and I was busy. And I was not even close to being as technically
good as you are now.
Technically good as I am right now. And right now I am struggling to book out at least one client a day, working with availability 7 days a week. I'm willing to come in any day that you need me to.
Yeah. I don't think that's like a lot of people will work 7 days a week until they can afford to work less. And I feel like that's kind of the way to go, because if you're going to be good at anything, you can't maintain balance on anything. You got to throw your all in there. But like, yeah, factoring in the state of the economy is like you really need to understand that like there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not like everything's not terrible. But like
kind of on the same like edge of the sword as the economy, it's seasonal kind of changes in terms of, I don't know about any of you guys. Congratulations if you can stay booked all through December and not have
especially
a single
near
Christmas time is just terrible, because I mean, and I get it, I understand everyone's trying to buy Christmas presents, everyone's saving up for whatever New Year's party they're hosting or whatever, but tattoos are they're not a need.
They're a nice to have,
it's
not a need
luxury. And usually when people are struggling with cash, tattoos are usually the first thing to get written out of their budget. So if I can, throw out a deal or two to entice you to still come in during Christmas time, because I have presents to buy as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I will. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And just, for all the tattoo enthusiasts and not the actual artists out there, just know this is our livelihood. Like, we are actually, like, if you see us throwing deals, but we're pretty well-off artists, or so you think, just the public eye isn't everything. Like, there's people struggling that are really good at artwork that need to be able to do that to feed their family and get Christmas presents.
Or even just, get some money saved, and honestly, if you're an established artist, you've definitely learned to kind of put some money behind for Christmas time. That's something that.
But that takes a few years to learn. Like, you really don't have that right away.
Sure does. It takes a few years to learn to put some money aside for tax season too.
So the next thing I want to bring up is geographical location. So Alex, why don't you go ahead and bring up that map? I have a map here by smarttattoo.com, which is actually ran by Russ Abbott, who was the guy that created the Simon 3D model on Procreate for the tattoos.
And I want to use this map as like a little bit of an argument, because we've been talking about how this has been talked about recently. I've seen multiple posts. I've seen multiple opinions. I've seen each side of opinions on this.
But this is 2022, so just disclaimer.
Yes, this is 2 years ago, but I mean,
post-COVID
how much has it really?
Yeah, it's just 2 years.
What I mean?
Adjust for inflation, but it is different.
You hear the one argument I kept seeing in comments and in the post itself was that if you charge less than what you're worth, then you're messing up what other artists are able to charge for themselves, because let's say, Zach, you're a great black and gray artist. Let's say you chose to, instead of charging what you charge, go lower.
Yeah, do a deal.
And then let's say there's another black and gray artist in town that doesn't waver. They're charging more than you're charging, but you guys are at the same talent.
See, yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah.
But then you have to think, like, we're in Indiana, so Alex, what's the average in Indiana?
147 in Indiana.
All right, now go ahead and shoot me.
Now hold on.
Texas.
172.
Okay.
New York City. New York's the highest. But here's the thing. So as she was saying, the two different people at the same level, one's not wavering, the other one is. Now, you can't call one or the other a bad artist, first off, because they're both at the same level,
They're at the
right?
same level. They could each do the same tattoo at the same execution level.
So inside that community, you have so much that you should be able to do to maintain your client base, even for the person that doesn't waver. You should have built enough rapport to keep your clients just for the sheer sake that you are you. And that you are you. You were one of their friends. They know that you care when they come in. If you're not doing follow-ups 3 days later to get pictures of your tattoos that are healing, you're fucking up. If you're not doing the extra things, we could do things as simple as sending birthday cards to our clients, and it's still going to be something.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You could be charging what you're charging and still make it worth it to that client.
Yeah, it's a very emotional purchase.
To where, let's say, the person who in this scenario is charging more, but they're going the extra mile, but the person who's charging less, you're in and out of their chair. They barely speak to you. They treat you like all you are to them is money. But then the person who's charging more is grateful that you're here. Hey man, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, they have a water sitting there and a fucking DeBrand's chocolate every time you come in.
Let me know. Don't be afraid to text me if you have any questions at any point in time. I'll be there for you. Hey man, your wrap looks like it's coming off. Do you want to come in today? I'll change it for you, no charge. You know what I mean? Like that artist is where me as a client, if I get back into my client mindset, because I'm still not too far off from like being able to relate to the clients, because I freaking 3 years ago, that's all I was a tattoo client.
Right.
I'm going to go to where I get the better experience, because like, I think one thing that tattoo artists forget consistently is that tattoos are not part of everybody's everyday life. We get so desensitized to that. This is a special moment for people. Mm-hmm. Like this is something that some people, they only do once every 2 years as they go get tattooed. Or sometimes some people only get one tattoo and they're done. Like,
yeah, and a great example of going that extra mile is we got some buddies at Breaking Skin Tattoo up in Ohio.
I saw that.
They when you get your first tattoo, they give you a certificate, like an award looking,
like, hey man,
framed little guy that you can bring home with you and hang on your wall about your first tattoo.
In commemorance. This is like, tattoos are forever. They're on you forever. Most people that are not within the tattoo community, most people like to have meaning to their tattoo. Not always, but like, I don't know. I think going the extra mile and being able to charge what you're charging, if you're able to book yourself out, why throw deals? If people are willing to pay what you're paying, people are willing to come and sit in your chair once a day, and
then we can talk about, like, inside that realm, the more metaphorical ladder. So there is, as you spike up in talent, I wouldn't call it talent. I would just say technique, education, experience. That's when you can start to change your pricing a little bit and be a little more firm with your clients about what you're charging. And like I said, that subconscious performance difference does matter.
If you're getting offered $500 to do a portrait, and then somebody offers you $1,000 to do that same exact portrait, I do think that subconsciously somebody is going to, same artist, do maybe not as well of a job on that $500 portrait than they will on the $1,000 portrait, because you paid for a $500 tattoo, now you paid for a $1,000 tattoo.
Right.
In that artist's head, a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think in our opinion, we need both.
We do.
Because here's the thing. If we stay firm on our pricing, there's some people that are never going to
be able to afford to get tattooed.
There's some people that are never going to be able to get into our world. Like, they'll never take the dive to get their first one. And, everybody says it when they come in. When you have one, you'll get 10. Like, you'll just keep getting tattoos. And it's, it's because of the experience. But if you don't have the right time, like the right time just never comes around to have that experience. And it's because, like, the money's not there, we'll say. Just not right now. Like, you've had the money in the past, but right now you don't have the money. And somebody throws a deal, you're going to be able to see the rapport building process. You're going to be able to get kind of pampered inside the shop, and then you're going to love that experience. And then by the end of it, you're going to keep getting tattooed, and we need both, because the staying firm keeps our economy up, and it keeps our rapport up. It keeps everybody honest.
It sets a curve.
It does. But throwing deals is necessary to maintain some sort of competition.
Well, and you say, like, you hear it, and I'll stand by this. Tattoos are not a necessity. They are a.
They're not a nice to have. They're a need to have, or they're not a need to have. They're a nice to have.
But I still also think that if we're gonna hike our prices all the way through the roof because we think that tattoos are a luxury and you don't need a tattoo, and if you're gonna get a tattoo, you're gonna fucking pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that mentality a little bit, because it's like, okay, so if this person has been working doubles all week, you know what I mean, trying to save up for this tattoo, but all they can scrounge up is $300, and this is what I want. I know it's probably a little bit out of my price range, but I've been saving up for 2 months and trying to get this really bad, and this means so much to me. I'm probably going to fucking do that tattoo for what you have.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, like, I don't know. It's such a, I can't think of the word, but it's such a terrible mentality to have that, like, this is a closed community, and if you can't afford it, you don't deserve it. It's like, I hate that. I hate that a little bit.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you have enough experience and enough know-how and enough business sense to keep your pricing firm and maintain your clientele,
and you stay booked,
do it.
Do it, bro.
But here's my advice. 7 years of sales. Here's my advice to anybody that's having trouble, okay? Every opportunity you get, don't give pricing on the phone. Get them in your shop. Doesn't matter. Give them a free estimate. Give them a free whatever. Get them in the shop so they can meet you as a person. Because chances are, if you're in the tattoo community, you're probably a pretty good person. I would say it's probably a good 90%.
I love our little mix of oddballs.
So don't give pricing over the phone. Build rapport. Do the extra thing. Be creative. If you have a business card, be creative with your business card. I've seen people do it. If you have any kind of CRM, which is a customer relationship management, and if you don't, you should keep a log of all your people. Call them 3 days later, and you have no idea what in their head. They go, holy shit, this guy called me 3 days after. I've never had a tattoo artist do this. 3 days later, just to see how the tattoo's healing. Hey, can I get a quick picture? And then bring them back in, because every time your client comes in the door, you're going to have an opportunity to talk to them about their tattoos or one of their friends' tattoos. You're going to come in, and every time you get a client, put them in your calendar, call them. After you call them, wait the required 2 weeks or however long it takes for them to heal. Get a healed picture. Now you've maintained this relationship throughout the entire process. Now, what are the chances in this month process, I would say, where they didn't talk to somebody about getting a tattoo based on just looking at their tattoo?
And here's a trend, I was guilty of this when I was just purely a client, and I had a shop. I had about 3 separate shops that I would either, if you were accepting walk-ins that day, you're the artist that got tattooed by me. It only changed when I started coming to this shop, because I was a client at this shop before I ever started working here. And there's a difference between, like, oh, I'm thinking of getting a tattoo today. Let's go find someone who's available, versus, well, I really am wanting to get a tattoo again, but gosh, Zach did such a great job. or so and so did such a great job
and
on
it was
this
so much
tattoo.
fun at the shop.
It was such a
you know?
great time, and man, I really would like to get it today, but can we schedule out? You know what I mean? Because I would really like you to be the one to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people, and you can vouch for this.
And there's a difference, and like, what's to say if you're just, all right, man, here you go, $150, that's it. You know, like, what's to say that the next time they want a tattoo that they're just gonna go to whoever's available that day?
Well, there's this thing that happens in our shop because we try to give this vibe, and she can vouch for this, but people that I have tattooed twice, 3 times, they come into the shop just to hang out. They don't come in to get tattooed. They come in to say hi. That's the kind of clients you're looking to get.
Or to check on us. We've had some very unfortunate situations regarding our shop recently, and I can't count on both hands how many of our clients have come just to stop by and make sure that everything's okay, to check in, to touch base, to kind of, you know, to send their well wishes, you know. And that's just, I don't know, you have to be a certain type of person to like build that rapport with people. I'm not gonna lie, I love our tattoo community. I have never met a better group of people that I share a community with and share common knowledge with, and that I can look up to and take advice from. But god damn, bro, some of you guys are passive aggressive assholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we so fucking mean to each other is kind of what I want to say. Like, the one thing that stood out to me most during this debate that we saw on Facebook recently is that you guys are so quick to be passive aggressive and talk about each other on posts, not say names and this and that, and call each other not real artists, and you're not an artist if you do this, and you're not a real artist if you do that. But god fucking damn, bro, why are, like, I understand that there are certain rules that need to be upheld and listened to, but like, why are we trying to set so many bullshit rules on each other when all we want to do is create art and freaking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We need to take a step back and realize that everybody's different. Everybody's got their own problems. You should reach out to your fellow artists more than you should argue with them. But you know, we have people inside our own community that have been arguing about this, and it is what it is. We need fucking both.
What I've learned from this is, and sometimes I'll read a post, and not necessarily even about this topic that we're talking about today, but I will read a post where someone says, you're not a real artist if you do blank, 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 blank. And it does get to me because I'm like, why? I don't do that very often, do I? And then it gets in my head because the person saying this is somebody who's been tattooing for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, way longer than I have. People that I look up to, people whose art that I look up to. And I'm like, God, if they don't think I'm an artist, should I really be here? Should I really be in this field? Like, and I think that's such a...
Imposter syndrome.
It's such a welcoming... And I'll say it, and I don't care, really. The tattoo community is the most welcoming and unwelcoming community that I've ever been a part of, period. Like, at all.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of person to be a tattoo artist, and you don't know it until you've started. That's for real.
Man, and I would never switch careers, even though sometimes I do doubt myself, and like, but I don't think I could ever go back to doing anything different. I just think that I think that more people should, and looking into this specifically, it kind of showed me that, like, is a difference opinions like all that bad, or is it more of a chance to kind of learn something new? Because like, I don't know, I guess I thought when I started researching this and like kind of like thinking about things to talk about, I was full-heartedly on like why shouldn't you throw deals? Like, what's so wrong with it? What's, you know what I mean? But then I do agree with, if you are worth something, don't waver. Like, a little bit. Like, you can still throw your deals, but don't cut yourself in half. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think most people that kind of have commented on this or posted about it in general all have the same opinion. It's just kind of poking. And you know,
And they're all very talented people. Everybody that I've looked into, have seen talking about this, have seen making their own opinion, have seen voicing their opinion, they're all artists that I have personally looked up to.
Yeah.
And either taken advice or hope to one day have a conversation with about learning something new. So they're definitely people to listen to, you know? Like, I'll listen to your opinion if your opinion is something that I can learn from, in my opinion.
Yeah. And always never, and this is my opinion as just an artist, never be afraid to throw that deal, get your exposure, get to learning. Watch all the webinars you can. Go to physical seminars as much as you can. Watch as many art videos as you can. Do as much as you can, because the harder you work, the better you're gonna be. The better you're gonna be, the more you can charge.
Yeah, I know artists personally that have been tattooing for 20 plus years, and they still will vocally admit to you that they still have more to learn, that they have weak points, that they have things that they're not all that great at, and that they need to get better. I just think that this is one of those career paths that you have the opportunity to never stop growing as a person, as an artist, as a friend.
It's surgery with an artistic flair. And if you were a doctor, you'd go to seminars every year to learn about the new tools. And we get new tools every fucking 2 weeks, I swear.
No kidding.
So you need to keep learning, keep talking to people way bigger than you. If you're the biggest person in the room, you're fucking up.
Find a new room.
Mm-hmm. That about wraps it up for us, guys. In conclusion, continue to throw those deals, build rapport, and then stay firm when you can. And anybody that's a big dog that's watching this, that's just staying firm for the last 3 or 4 years, fucking good for you.
Stay
Glad
booked,
you could
brother.
overcome and adapt to everybody.
Yeah.
I love y'all, and definitely I know some of you are down right now. Just keep your head up. It's going to come back. It's an election year. Let it ride. We'll see what happens next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got anything to say, Keely?
Man, I just really think that we need that middle line. I do fully agree with you need to find out what you are worth when it comes to your work. Find out what you're worth. And, if you charge that consistently, and then if you want to throw a deal, throw a fucking deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Who does it affect other than you, your client, and your wallet?
Do a giveaway to get more Facebook followers. Who gives a fuck?
I think we all need to stop worrying about each other and what other people across the country are doing.
And what other people think of you.
And just do our art. Love each other, bro. No, I'm tired of the arguing. I am. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, no more arguing. All right, guys. This has been the Tattoo Hang. I appreciate you all. We'll try to get more episodes up more often. But for today, that's all the time we have. We'll see you guys later. As always, we are brought to you by Wicked Fast Skincare and soon to be at Carnival of Ink, St. Charles. Don't miss it. We've got an event page on our actual page. Make sure you say that you're going so I know you'll be there, and come see us at the booth.
Swing by the Tattoo Hang booth. It'll have this cute little logo.
Are you framing it right now? Okay. All right, guys.
You'll find us.
Peace out.